Hello, you metal pilgrims, and welcome to this episode with our today's guest, Bill Hudson, the founder and the leader of the international super band NorthTale. In addition to just having a lot of fun and thrashing, well, you'll see whom, Bill and I will be speaking about how the band has finally found their new vocalist, about the second album which is coming very soon, and much, much more. Yet before we start, I'd just like to take a moment and invite you to subscribe to Metal Pilgrim channel and join our communities on Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media you actually hang out at. Like, comment, you know what to do. Here you go.
How are you, man?
All is good, all is good. How's everything with you, man?
Good, yeah. Sorry I took a little longer at the vet.
No worries, man.
Yeah. And but yeah, man, everything's good. I'm in the middle of recording. I'm almost done tracking my solos. I'll probably be done tomorrow, I think.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. How was your time in Brazil?
Brazil was great. I had a great time there. It was the first time I went since last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think last time I was in Brazil might have been like 2007 or something.
Oh.
No, 2007. Why am I saying 2007?
I have no idea, man.
I meant September of 2019.
Okay.
Anyway, it had been a while, and I went there mostly to record the singer. You know, like a singer for NorthTale, Guilherme. He's from Brazil, and because I'm a dual citizen, I get to travel right now. You know, so I can go there and I can come here. Well, I don't get to travel to Europe or anything, but I can go to Brazil and I can come back.
We don't even get to travel around Europe now, man.
Well, it's funny because not only do I live in Florida, where it's one of the worst places in America, you know, I'll come from Brazil. It's like all the worst places in the world.
You're screwed.
Yeah. That being said, though, I have to say that people in Brazil are much more careful and much better about it than the people here in America. Here is just ridiculous. Seriously? I mean, I have a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but it's a friend from a band that I've played with before that plays covers here in Florida. Okay. And he's playing normally. He's playing 5-6 times a week. And I went out to try and see him the other night. Yeah. We met at the parking lot behind the bar, you know, and I'm like, hey, man, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm coming in thinking that it's going to be at least a little safe. Yeah. We opened the door and I see, I mean, dude, there had to be like, it wasn't a big bar, but there had to be like 60 people crammed together. Seriously? No masks, not a mask in sight, nothing. It's business as usual. And I was wearing a mask. So as I'm walking in, my friend is like, yo, you're the weirdo with a mask. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, you understand the rest of the world is doing this. Like, the rest of the world is laughing at this right here. Yeah. And I laughed. I didn't stay to see him play. I walked back to my car and left.
This sucks, man. Absolutely. And just to point out to everyone who's going to be watching us, guys, let's not be ridiculous. Let's get over with this. This is, if we are going to just ignore it, it's not going to disappear by itself. Wear a mask, wash your hands. I mean, don't be stupid.
I mean, you know, man, I don't think that we know everything that's going on. I don't think nobody knows for sure. Yeah. Like, I cannot say for sure that the masks do anything. Okay, I don't believe either research. But what I can say is this: it doesn't cost anything to wear one.
I agree with you.
It's like, whether or not it does anything, whatever, wear it, you know. But to be honest, like, my wife has been working in China for 1.5 years. So before the pandemic, I was there, and I had to wear a mask a couple of days because of the weather being so bad. Oh. So that concept wasn't super weird to me, you know. And I mean, listen, man, I'm a libertarian. I'm all for freedom, your own freedom. Here in America, it's legal to have guns. It's legal to smoke weed. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Okay. As long as you're not, hurting anyone else,
sure.
And that is where the problem is for me. I don't wear a mask for me. I wear a mask for other people.
Exactly.
And I would like for other people to wear a mask for me too, And since they don't, what I do is I just sit here and work on music, I'm fine doing that too. I don't like people anyway, And now in Brazil, it's funny because unlike here in America, everywhere that you go, they have these pumps like right at the door with hand sanitizer where you step on it. You literally you don't even have to touch the thing. Really? So you step on it, sanitize your hands, go into the store. Here in America, there's nothing like that. You go into a restaurant, which I didn't go into, but I saw it driving by. You go into a restaurant, there's hand sanitizer bottles on every table.
Yeah, same here.
But then again, you go to the beach and it's packed. And I mean, well, dude, when I say packed, I mean packed. You cannot see a little speck of sand from like the dude. Yeah, it's nothing but people at the beach. It's it's pretty crazy. I didn't go. I did not go even once. But it's I don't know, man. What I do know is this: I'm able to isolate, and I'm able to wear a mask, so I'm going to,
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us are lucky enough to have homes, have a roof over our heads, and it would be ridiculous if we don't use that opportunity, to do something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so last time we spoke though, man, when was that? Like 8 months ago on the show, right? And
well, it was at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it was all just starting, and you just parted ways with Christian, right? And the band was kind of on the crossroads back then, and today it seems like everything's booming for you guys. I mean, you're finalizing a new album, you've got a complete lineup, you've chosen a new vocalist, and before we actually go on and speak about the new album, man, about the sophomore record, I'd love to know what was the process like of choosing the guy.
Well, it was a very, very, very long and arduous process because I knew it wouldn't be easy because, to be honest, and I'll say this forever, Christian still is one of my favorite singers, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. I knew the fans wanted a good replacement. I knew I couldn't get just anyone. Now, I have talked to every single power metal singer that is. Okay, you name someone, I talked to them about being in NorthTale. I auditioned. I did close to 40 auditions, and Guilherme was the last one.
Really?
Okay? And yeah, he was the very last one. And what's funny is I had already made a choice by the time he came around, It was really bad because the choice I made is someone that right now I believe is also one of the best power metal singers out there. And not only that, I'm a big fan of him too. So it was almost like it was almost like, why does he want to join the band? You know what I mean? Like almost too big for the band. And then to have to go to this guy and be like, listen, man, we found someone else. I'm sorry. That really sucked. But, I talked to big names. I talked to small names. I talked to newcomers. I gave everyone a chance. I knew I wanted someone that could sing the Christian material well, but didn't sound like a clone. And I definitely was looking for more of a Michael Kiske, Jeff Tate, Timo Cotipelto kind of singer as opposed to Dio. Okay. Because I have a lot of friends who are really good at the Dio-ish kind of vocal, the drive and the really aggressive high vocals. And I actually talked to a really good one, about being in the band. But at the end of the day, this music doesn't really fit the music I'm writing. I needed a clean singer, and the guy that I had was, the guy that was supposed to be in the band was doing just that. And he was also in Europe, which made things easy. Then one day I get a message from Guilherme on Facebook asking about the position. And I actually told him that we had someone already. I was like, I'm sorry, man, but, we already found someone. But I did go and see his band, and I thought they were cool. But I'm like, hey, thanks for the interest. And he's like, well, you should let me audition. Now, that's how I got into my first band. They told me I had someone.
Perseverance.
And I said, well, you should still let me audition. So I'm like, all right. I've seen this movie before. So I'm like, all right, dude, here it is. What do you want to sing? I even asked him, like, what songs do you want to sing? Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I gave him the songs. I don't remember. But I know that he sent me the first one, and I was like, okay. Holy shit. The other thing, too, that I had a problem with, and it's, I hate to say because I'm from there, too, but was the fact that he was in Brazil. Okay. Because that makes things, everything is harder with that, We need a visa to bring the guy to the States. We need a more expensive flight. It's all the way fucking South America. It's just like geographically, it was a pain in the ass. Yeah. I just didn't want to deal with that. But his audition was so good. And I was like, okay, all right, let me give him another song, man. He ended up sending me 4. And I didn't even know, like, what to respond. For, like, a week, I was watching his auditions and being like, all right, this guy's really fucking good, man. but I already had the other guy lined up, already working on songs, too, you know? So eventually I talked to a friend of mine named Jeff Keller. He's Doro's manager here in the States, Doro Destruction. Yep. And I sent him some of the auditions. I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, well, that guy Guilherme is the best. And I sent him like 4 different auditions or something, my favorite 4, And I was like, well, I'm thinking about going with this guy. He's like, no, go with this guy here. And I'm like, okay, it can't be just me. So we that's how we found him, Oh no, before that, I sent him a new song. Sent him a new song, and on this new song, either I was singing or it was keyboard melodies, And I just told him, write some lyrics to this and send me back. And he did it in about 12 hours. Huh. And when I heard the new song, I was like, okay, this is definitely the guy. He was. Again, so it's not about ability. It's not about being better because, again, I talked to some of the best in the business. Like some guys that have way more like history than he does. Like it's not that he's better, but he is more what I needed. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's more what the band needed. Then. The next step, okay, he can really sing, The next step was like, let's try to write some stuff together. And then that's everything that happened that compounded it. Yeah. And then when I got to Brazil, and that was the reason that I went. I'm like, I got to see this in person. Like, how is there a singer like this and nobody has nagged him yet, And actually, nobody... He was supposed to have sang for Timo Tolkki in Brazil, but Timo didn't go. So I'm like, God, thank you so much. Because Timo already stole my keyboard player. I was like, come on, he can't steal my whole band. Yeah. So, I mean, he didn't steal it. Jimmy's still in our band. Well, I guess Jimmy's not in his band anymore, actually. For a second, he stole my keyboard player. But this, the Guilherme thing, I was like, man, I'm a genius for finding this guy down in Brazil, But I mean, working in the studio with him, he listens. An issue I had with Christian, and I can say this publicly, is he wouldn't listen. He wouldn't let himself be led by me. He wanted to be a leader as well. Oh. And I was like, dude, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I told him. I'm like, dude, that's fine. I'm not saying my ideas are better than yours, but this is my song. Yeah. This is my music. You know what I mean? Christian, like some of the songs, he like recorded all by himself and put it in a Dropbox and told us vocals are done. You know, I didn't get to be in front of him and recording. Whereas with Guilherme, I was there for every single word. You know,
you were a pain in the ass. I can imagine that, man.
Yeah. Not to mention, of course, Dennis Ward being producing took it to a whole different level. But yeah, but there's a lot of these problems and issues that I had with Christian before that with Guilherme, they just don't exist. Hey, I don't like this line right here. Let's say this instead. Okay. You know, like, hey, what do you think about this one? Do you think this or that? You know, he would never make a choice just because it's his idea. You know what I mean? It's a completely different atmosphere, and more importantly, the band feels like a band.
Okay.
You know, because as I said on the last interview I did with you, because I do remember saying this, the band wasn't exactly on board when I fired Christian. It was kind of like a unilateral decision. I have to admit it. It was.
Yeah.
Over time, though, I won them over, especially after getting Guilherme in the band. You know, like things that I heard from different members. It's like, well, no, now it's like now we are a band. I'm like, exactly. That's what I've been trying to do all along.
And this is amazing because you guys like a living organism. Everyone has to be working on their part, contributing to it, you know, and this is the only way this machine is going to work. Otherwise, it's just never going to do it. Do you actually keep...
And quite honestly, man, I'm not, and I've told my guys before this too, I don't want to do anyone any favors anymore. You know, like if you're going to be in the band, like if you're going to be part owner of the company, then you're going to be a part owner. You're not going to just sit there.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to pull your weight. You're going to do your stuff. Otherwise, I'll find someone who does it, you know. But as has happened.
Yeah.
You know, but not anymore. Not anymore. The current lineup, I just wish we had this for the first album, you know, that's all I can say. I'm really happy with what happened here.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Actually, and to close the topic of Christian for this episode, I mean, 8 months later, do you actually keep in touch with him or not?
We have a few business spendings still. Okay. Stuff that we still have to get sorted out. So we talk on a friendly basis. Okay. Not like he's not my friend or anything. You know, we don't call each other, "What's up, man?" The way he was when he was in the band. That does not happen. We talk about business, and but honestly, there has been no bad blood in any, at least not on my end. You know, like I respect the fuck out of the guy as a singer. Yeah. You know, like
he's a great
without
singer.
him, there would never have been NorthTale, you know. And what he's done at the beginning, it's like I respect the fuck out of him. But we just can't no longer work together. And it's not like we didn't have that much of a personal relationship to begin with because we live so far apart. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Every time we were on the phone was about something band related, so we kind of went away. But if I do see him, I'll
you'll shake his hand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm glad to hear that the atmosphere in the band is great now, and you feel like a band already. Because I mean, it hasn't been that long with Guilherme, right? And if you guys clicked right away, that's great news. So tell us about the new album, man. What's it gonna sound like?
Oh man, so. I remember when we did the first album. Yeah. I was trying to think how I could ever top that up. Now, I kind of hate the first album. Oh. You know, it's not that I hate it, but I hear all these things that I'm like, oh man, we're doing this or that so much better this time around.
That's great to hear.
So the new album is going to have the same amount of happy choruses, of happy fat power metal. It's gonna be very much the same genre that we had on the first album, but we're going different places this time. For example, the first album was very much based on ice and snow and even the music we were thinking that, like the power metal wings, you want to call them. That's mainly because the band was mostly Swedish. Now we have the same amount of Brazilians as we do Swedish, and we've explored a lot of Brazil themes in this album. I can't specifically say anything yet about what's gonna be, but the music is has a lot more depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same cookie cutter power metal. Because I'll be the first to admit, the first album was absolutely cookie cutter, 90s power metal.
But didn't you say that you wanted it to sound like this, right? I mean, that was the purpose.
See, the way I see it, and this has been a vision of mine kind of all along. I was like, okay, the first album will be very basic, very much what I wanted to hear as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that catches on, and if people like it, then I can be a little more artistic on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's at least 4 songs, maybe even 5, that could be on the first album.
Mm-hmm.
They're just better versions of the fast ones. But then there's song like we have a song about criticizing religion, organized religion, like Christianity, but we also have a song about a Brazilian religion, like a religion specifically to Brazil. We have a song about a Brazilian historical figure. We still have a lot of the you can call it self-empowerment songs, stuff like shape your reality and stuff like that. We have a lot of that. So I think that with the new album, we definitely sound more like a we sounded like a band, but I feel like the first album was like, the experience for the listener was kind of like, oh wait, I heard this before, I just can't say where. Is this Gamma Ray? Is this Hammerfall?
So can you say that you are moving from a project to a proper band? Would that go like this? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we wanted to be a band all along.
Okay.
We wanted to. This was never meant to be a project.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it started as my solo project, but the second we called it NorthTale and we wrote the songs, me and Christian.
Yep.
It wasn't a project anymore. It was always supposed to be a band. It just never felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now it feels like one. It's things that I can't really say in an interview, but like personal stuff that wasn't working. It's like this, man. It's like a car. There's a part that's not quite the right part. You put the part there, the car works. That's what it was. Like we're trying to do something that wasn't meant to be done. That's how I see it. And now it is. Now things are flowing more. Now things are flowing. Period.
That's great to hear, man. So when can we expect it to be released?
We're shooting for the summer.
Okay.
At some point in the summer, because we announced yesterday our first European tour.
Yeah.
For November.
We're gonna talk about that, man. I have a very important question about that one, man.
Okay. But we definitely want to make sure that people have a couple months to listen to the album before we go out.
That's always good. Yeah. So have you thought of the title already?
We do have a title, but I don't want to say yet, because what if it changes,
So tell us the working title then.
The working? No, I would rather not. I'll say it at the right time.
No worries, man. But speaking about that European tour, you just announced it together with the Unleash the Archers and Striker. I mean, how excited are you, man? And this is amazing.
Okay, so this is a very, very important part of my career. You know what I mean? It almost feels like I'm 23 again, because we're an opening band. I haven't been an opening band in 10 years, or maybe more.
With Dora, yeah.
But I mean, I'm just as excited as I was, because it's my project. Like this one, here's a very interesting experience I've been having lately. When I get the communication about the tour to my email from the booking agent, I'm not used to doing that. I'm not used to being the guy handling the business and then letting everybody else know. Yeah. I'm usually the guy on the last guy to get. Hey, these are the dates. This is how much money you're getting. Here's the ticket. Now I'm the guy doing that. I'm the guy having to figure out, man, this is gonna cost this much to do. It's an interesting position to be, and at my age, 38, is really weird. because that's stuff that I should have done at 22 or 21, you know. But I didn't, and and I can't think of a better tour for us to start with, to be perfectly honest, because first of all, I've known Grant from Unleash the Archers for about 5 years now. We met in Canada, 2015. Now Striker, I only met those guys one time, but just hanging out. But their old drummer, who's still involved in the band, Adam Brown, him and I toured together before.
Oh, really?
Played in the band together. So, and I know his brother Tim is the guitar player. So I mean, those are the, and I might know someone else in the band too. I just can't remember now. But the point is, these are people that I know are super cool, and musically it fits like a glove, because Unleash the Archers is a female-fronted power metal band. Then Striker is a more traditional band with 2 guitars, and we're the Stradivarius wannabe. You know, like it all like it fits with every crowd, but it's not 3 of the same band.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, man. I actually spoke to Brittany from Unleash the Archers a couple of months ago on the show, and she's amazing. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of fun on that tour. One question, though. Why the flip? There is no Ukraine there, man. You got to come here.
Hey, man, you remember I said it was an opening band, right? On my headlining tour, believe me, we're going to Kiev.
Absolutely,
even if we're playing for 3 people, you know, but we're going.
Absolutely, man.
Tour, I just have to play where they go.
Absolutely, man. Next time, man. But this time, I hope that I'll catch you in one of the nearby countries, though, because everyone is super excited to start, you know, traveling around finally, and go into the shows. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, man.
Same here, man. Absolutely, man. Actually, but if you're not able to perform any live shows by the time you release the the album, there's still a couple of months that you will have to wait if you do it by the summer. Would you ever consider online shows or not really?
We're actually talking. Well, I am actually talking to some company that approached us about that, and I need to figure out more about how it works. But there's a company that emailed me. We thought about that, but let's put it this way: I would rather that be a last resource. It's not that we don't want to do it. It's just that I think the time to do it has passed. Like I think right now it just became another thing. So, but I also consider the fact that I might be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I definitely want to do it. So that's why I want to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, yes, this is kind of the reality we'll have to adjust to at the moment. At the same time, I think everyone is so fed up with all this online stuff, and everyone just wants to get out there and visit a real show, a real heavy metal, power metal, whatever it is, a metal show in a sweaty club, drink a beer or juice, no one really cares what you drink, with a guy nearby, and enjoy your time. I mean, I personally cannot wait for that, man. All right, man, I don't want to keep you too long here, so just a couple of more questions. And I got a very special one for you. You got to choose one, because I follow, we're friends on Facebook, so I hear that a lot, man. You choose one of those. Go into a local band show and stay in there for an entire night without a drink, or watching Hatikah.
Not that.
But
not that option. Okay.
On the other side, you have to watch Hatikah 3 times in a row without tissues.
Dude, I don't care. I'll watch any movie without tissues before I have to go through. No, that's the choice. That's the choice.
You are heartless, man. You are heartless.
Listen, man, and you know what? Let me make this clear, because I do I do offend some of my friends sometimes with those jokes. And when I say local band, I don't mean bands local to you. I don't mean the bands that are, in my case, I live in Orlando, so I'm not talking shit about the Orlando bands. I just mean here in America. I hear from European people that it's similar there, but I don't see it. I've never seen anything like that in Europe. But in America, it's like this. Every city, be Orlando, New York City, Los Angeles, wherever you go, there's a level of bands that play the local venues, that compete against each other, and talk shit about one another. But at the end of the day, if they travel 20 miles outside of their city, literally nobody knows who they are. And there's all this bickering over a venue that sits 40 people, And then when eventually one of these bands does become big, then everybody starts to badmouth that band. Like, I cannot tell you how many musicians from OC, California that I know that say that Avenged Sevenfold, I remember when they were opening for my band. But now they're millionaires, and you're still playing the same bar, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, as a person from Brazil, I didn't grow up. Because, like, if you think about it this way, if you live in Chicago, and you never leave Chicago. You always play with your band there. You never get to tour. You never get to become a pro musician. You don't see outside. You don't see how it is. I've lived in different states, different countries, and I have seen the same thing happen in different states and different countries. Every town here in America has a band that sells out. But when they play, it's just a party band. Like, everybody goes to party, and then this band feels like they're better than everybody else, and then everybody else shit-stalk that band. Then eventually, one of these bands gets signed, goes on a national tour. When they come back from the national tour, all the other bands are talking shit. I've seen it happen like 15 times in different states. It happens everywhere. And I'm always in the national band. So I'm always the guy going on tour and coming to the city and seeing that. Because that kind of mentality doesn't do anyone any good. That's the truth. I talk shit and all that, but the truth is, I'm happy for musicians when they get gigs. Like Unleash the Archers, that's a band I've known forever, and they were a tiny band from Vancouver, and now they're going on their headline tour. I'm very fucking happy for that.
This is amazing.
It's amazing. It's not the same feeling as if it was me. That would be a lie to say. Like, I actually look at it and I'm like, I want that. But at the same time, I want that. I don't want them not to have it. You know what I mean? I want NorthTale to be on a headlining level. I don't want Unleash the Archers not to be.
Exactly.
And so that's the local mentality. It's like local of any city, anywhere. It's like, I don't want. Sure, your band is getting big. I would rather your band do nothing than mine be big like yours. You know what I mean? So, so it's like, and I think that sort of mentality is what separates a successful person from a non-successful person, not musician. Person.
Exactly. In any industry.
This happens everywhere. This happens in sports. This happens with lawyers. This happens with everywhere. People would always rather see someone else fail than them themselves succeed. So, and I'm not down with that. I've been like that. I've been like that until I was 18 years old. I was convinced that I was the best guitar player in the world, but unrecognized. Nobody knew how good I was because they were jealous.
Exactly.
And dude, I mean, it took me until going on tour circle to circle, already being almost 25 years old, and seeing Andy Lee play, their guitar player, and be like, oh shit, I'm not that good, and have to play rhythm guitar for that guy. Be like, I'm not that good, but because up to that point, I did think that I was that good, and it just doesn't. And you know what, man? And that's a very rock and metal specific thing. I mean, you get the jazz nerds that do that same thing, but whatever. Those guys are competing for 4 people, whatever.
I actually think that it's type of people mentality, right? I mean, and they can be in any industry. I mean, it happens. I work at AdTech as a day job, man, and same shit happens there all the time. Instead of being happy for someone who got lucky, as they think, and became famous, I mean, just work really hard. I mean, why does, I don't know, Bill Hudson or Victor Smolsky play amazing guitar? Because they practice 8 hours a day, man, and you don't. That's the thing.
You said something, this luck thing. I believe in luck. I absolutely believe in luck. But I also believe that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. I learned that from Al Petrelli. And when he said that, it kind of changed my entire life. I'm like, it's true, man. Because up to that point, I've had opportunities that I blew because I wasn't that good or because I wasn't drunk. And then I realized, if I was prepared and I got those opportunities, people would say I'm lucky. So yeah, that's luck. Opportunity meeting preparation.
100% agree with you, man, on this one. And the last one, to not keep you here for too long, man. What is your one guilty pleasure in terms of music? I mean, what do you blast when no one is listening if it's not metal?
It's funny, man. That's kind of a question that I get a lot, and I always have a hard time coming up with a guilty pleasure because I like all music equally. You know what I mean? It's very like I listen to stuff that you could consider a guilty pleasure, like say, look, Dua Lipa, for example. Like I like Dua Lipa a lot, but I'm proud that I like it. I like Dua Lipa the same way I like Unleash the Archers. So it's I don't know that another thing is most of the time I don't really listen to metal in my own time.
Really?
Like I work with it so much that it becomes boring. Like I like one of my favorite artists right now is Jason Mraz, and it's been for years. He's a genius. I really like Daft Punk. I really like, the Swedish House Mafia, they retired after that one song, but like that EP that they have, I think is fantastic.
It was pretty good, man, yeah.
I listen to, and at the same time, I went to college for classical music, but gone were the times that I listened to that a lot. But I had a time in my life where I listened to nothing but composers, the different composers from different eras. But to be honest, that's not the case anymore. And I had a jazz phase too. I had especially when I was studying guitar, I had back when I was a kid. I had a jazz phase. And but nowadays I like to listen to select jazz records that I really like John Coltrane's Giant Steps. Being Love. That's one of the best things ever done in music.
I actually agree with you.
The first Weather Report record, but it's not everything, I don't and I really have a hard time getting into more modern metal, to be honest. I always say that. I'll listen to the metalcore that came out around 2003. Killswitch Engage has a record called End of a Heartache that I really like, and Trivium has a good record too called Ascendancy. But whatever they're selling as metal right now, I have no interest in. And I know I sound like an old guy, but I'm like, what? How is that even I don't know. But yeah, guilty pleasures. I don't know. I guess those. Recently, what was that one song, man? There's a song that I was really into lately. One of these pop songs on the radio. But it's old. Oh, and it's so annoying. It's by that song "Happy" by.
I'm so happy. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That chord progression.
That was actually pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, if you listen to the song, it's dude, that song is not simple. It's a crazy song, but it's really, really good and really, really catchy. That's the thing, man. A lot of people take credit away from pop music. Rock and metal people mostly take credit away from pop music. But I always say it's a lot harder to write a good song within boundaries, within 3 minutes or 4 kind of thing, than try to be artistic. Artistic, you can just write whatever and be like, oh, look how much of a genius I am. My song is in 7/16, and the riff doesn't make any sense, so I'm a genius. No. Write me 4 chords in a melody that I'll remember tomorrow, and I'll respect. So that I'm all about melody, man. The truth is I listen to the radio a lot too. You know, like a lot of the times like I don't know what I'm listening to, but I do listen to the radio a lot. You know? I like modern pop, I like modern hip hop. I'm not a big fan of the super crude hip hop, like the WAP pussy, the wet ass pussy song. I don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's too much. Like that. But see, I know that music speaks to a different generation. I know that 19-year-olds love that song.
Sure.
It definitely has something that appeals to them. Yeah. And you know, considering that my generation was a lot more sex oriented than the new generation, I can't find really that connection, you know. but yeah, I mean that's a song I don't like. But there's other stuff, you know. There's a song called Beauty and the Beat. It's old by now, but and I think it's Justin Bieber. Well, it's Max Martin. It's written by Max Martin, but it's Justin Bieber and the Anaconda singer. I forget her name. Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
The song is amazing. I love that song. And it's fucking Nicki Minaj, you know. But, yeah. So it's hard for me to say it's a guilty pleasure because I just like music that I like, you know.
That's fun, man. Thanks a lot, Bill. As always, a pleasure to talk to you. Any last message for the fans? Anything you want to share with them?
Yeah, Cleo, thank you very much,
nice.
Man. To everyone watching this video, wherever you are, thank you very much for checking out NorthTale. If you haven't yet, please do so. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. It's NorthTale, one word. We're a power metal band from all over the place. We'll be on tour with Unleash the Archers this upcoming November, hopefully. Unleash the Archers and Striker, by the way. And our new album is coming out through Nuclear Blast this summer. I'll probably be back here talking about it.
Absolutely, you will.
There. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks. Have a great night, and thanks a lot, man. See you.
Yeah, man.